Today we're going to talk about assessment. And with assessment, there's a lot of different possibilities, and they include surveys in terms of formative or summative. You can do a survey during and branch it off into a discussion piece, or you can have the students fill out a open or closed-ended survey as part of a exit ticket. Polls, same thing. You can get opinions on where to go, check for understanding through polls. There are blogs. Students can do online writing to instead of rather an essay or a take-home paper, they can blog it, which could be distributed either privately or publicly to the teacher in the class. Digital portfolios, where a number of assignments can be submitted online into one ongoing portfolio for each student. And electronically submitted assignments. This could be put into a digital portfolio, but the reason it's kept separate here is it could also simply be emailing a document. It could be sharing a document through file sharing programs like Dropbox or Google Drive. What we're going to be taking a look at today, though, is something a little different. The assessments we'll be looking at specifically today are Socrative. Socrative is an online quizzing tool that you can ask open or closed-ended questions, and they could be graded. Students can submit through any device. Today's Meet, which is an opportunity for formative assessment, both ways, student-teacher and teacher-student, where the teacher can throw out questions to the students and they can answer them as they go, or the students can also pose questions that can be addressed on an ongoing basis by the teacher within class, or the transcript from the lesson can be saved for review later to answer questions in the future so they don't get forgotten. And Poll Everywhere. Poll Everywhere is a survey tool, but it can be used to ask open-ended questions or closed-ended questions, and it can also be used either as a formative or summative assessment and exit ticket, along with a few other things, which we'll take a look at today. The first tool we're going to look at is called Socrative. Socrative, named after the Socratic questioning method, is an online tool that can be used to assess students through online quizzes. So let's take a look. We're going to start out with a tour of Socrative. You see that you have a room number, types of questions, and types of quizzes. Start quiz, exit ticket, space race. The room number, as you see up top, is the room that the kids will check in with on the app when they download it. You see the room number up again. You see the number of students in the room. In this case, there's 5. The room number makes it so the students don't have to log in. They can actually just click in that number and they'll bring it right to your site. We see a quiz. We see the completed quiz, who has it. It's blurred out, but you can see that where the names of the students are. And then here we have a screenshot of what it looks like from the student's perspective. This is a screenshot of a tablet. So they've entered their room number, and you see the first question is, please enter your first and last name. This helps identify them. Because this is not a district-based site, they have to enter their names. They could do it anonymous as well. We see a example of a multiple choice question. Which of the following American presidents was not a K-12 or college teacher? Has a number of options. They can click on one using a touch screen as found in a tablet or smartphone. I'll show you another example in a second here of an example of the response. It says, good job, you got it right. And then they can click on the next question. So they get immediate feedback. You can choose an option for them not to get immediate feedback, but this is an example where you do see it. I'll show you an example of a wrong answer. And here they have the wrong answer. You can put in the correct answer. It'll show you what the correct answer is. If you wanted to, you could also add an explanation of why it's wrong. And you would enter one for each wrong answer. Here we have the room number. We see that the activity is completed. Once the teacher terminates the activity, stops it, the students get put in a hold pattern, which will stay that way until they start the next quiz or log out. You can hide the live results. You can in the activity. When you do in the activity, you have a choice. You can get a report, you can email it, download it, or choose no report. If you download it, it'll bring up an Excel spreadsheet. It takes a minute to load and it pops up. And when we look here at when it pops up, you'll see that the Excel spreadsheet gives students' names, what answers they gave, whether it's right or wrong, and the results. Here we see an example of an open-ended question. They put in answers, they put the answers, and then they get to vote on what answers they gave. So if the students give a number of answers, you can take those and reply. Here we see a screenshot of what it looks like for the students. This could be an exit ticket, for instance. What did you learn? So you have formative assessments in terms of multiple choice and open answers. You can do an exit ticket for a summative assessment. You can vote on the questions in the activity at any time. You can save the test if you want to, so it can be repeated with another class. You don't have to create one for every class. Here we're going to give you a brief tour of how to create a quiz. You create it, click on create. You can choose a multiple choice or short answer question. And you simply give the test a name, as you see above. It's pretty self-explanatory. You see an option for questions. Type in the question and then you give the answers. Write in as many answers as you want. If it's multiple choice, you need at least 2. And you can add additional ones. And when you're done, you'll see the check boxes on the left. You click on the correct answer and you're good to go. Here the answer is good. And then I can add a question. I'm going to click short answer. If the answer is good, I want them to answer why it's good. If you want to, because these are open-ended questions, they won't automatically grade, but you can put in what the correct answer is, so give feedback and an explanation of why that's the answer. And you can also switch questions around using the arrows. And then you save it. It's all saved. And then you'll see edit quizzes in your account or start quizzes and drop down menu so you select the one that you want to do. Next, we're going to look at some polling software. This one is called Poll Everywhere. And basically, you take online polls and surveys, you create them ahead of time. And this one's great because it doesn't operate through the internet, it operates through texting. So the students can use their phones without having to go on the internet, and it offers a lot more options. So let's take a look at that now. Here we see a few polls. We're going to take a look at what it looks like first. We see create polls and my polls, and what I've done is I've entered the question, what type of device do you use in class? We see text a code to a number, 87607. That's the number you would actually text to, or whatever number it gives you rather. And what they text to that number is one of the codes. You see tablet, and if you have a tablet, you would text 807359 to the number given. And you see some numbers popping up, and you saw laptop 1, smartphone 1. That means that within this class, at this point, one student has a laptop. Now we see 2 students have a smartphone, and the bars adjust as the people text in their answers. We're going to take a look in a little bit about how the questions are created, but this is to give you a sense of what it looks like for the students. Obviously, the larger the class, the more interaction, or the more these numbers will bounce around, the more complex it gets in terms of how it looks on the screen. Once again, these are closed-ended questions. We'll take a look at open-ended questions in a little bit. Here we're going to take a look at an open-ended question. The question is, what is your favorite device to use in class? This one gets a little more complicated in terms of the numbers, but not much. We see that the text is, the number is 939014. And so what they do, they text what they want to say behind that number to the number 37507. So what you're going to do is you text the following number to the following number 37607, or the number that's assigned to you. And when you put in, for instance, this person put in laptop, before they typed in laptop, they prefaced it with the 939014. And as we're looking, we're seeing the people in the class popping up. We see 3 people have iPhones, 1 person has a laptop. And what these people are able to do is put in answers that aren't necessarily a multiple choice question. And oddly enough, I think we're going to have one popping up in a minute. That's not an iPod, a laptop, or an iPhone. Oh, Gandalf is here. So that is apparently a device I've never heard of. And another person apparently has a notebook. Next, we're going to look at Today's Meet. Today's Meet is a type of back channel where people can ask questions, mostly as a formative assessment during class. You can keep a line of questioning. Students remember what they ask because they write it down, and teachers can answer at a more appropriate pace. In terms of what we're looking at for assessment, we've been taking a look at assessment tools for the classroom using BYOD technologies. We have Socrative, Poll Everywhere, Today's Meet, and Back Channel. What we're going to take a look at is Today's Meet. That's one of the 2 back channel programs we'll be looking at. One thing to not get confused is that there is a program called Back Channel, but this is not the same thing. It is the same type of site, but this is called Today's Meet, which is a back channel program, but not the same as the commercial version. So we're going to take a look, and we have this. This is the home page or the main page for Today's Meet, and we see that we can create a room, and you can refer to this as a classroom, that based in cyberspace, and we're going to give it a name. We'll call it BYOD test. And as you can see, you have the URL pops up, and it's all todaysmeet.com, and the name of your room pops up at the end so the students can find it. You have a choice about how long you want the room to stay open. Later on, you'll have this option of where it closes down, and in the meantime, students can print off a transcript. So I'm going to say it's 8 hours, just to pick one, and I'm going to create a room. And I'm going to give it a name, and I will call myself Teacher. I'm going to join, and I'm going to say hello, everyone. And I'm going to click return. So it's almost the same in terms of that as a chat room. Now I'm going to go into a different computer here on the side, and I'm going to log myself in by just entering the name of, or the URL, which you see up top there, BYOD test. Clicking enter. Okay, now I'm going to say my name here, student. And I've entered the room, and I can say a message. Hello, back. And I'm going to click it in a second on the computer that with the screen we're looking at. This will pop up. Hello, everyone. Now, what are some potential uses of this? First of all, if you have students who perhaps have a question and you're in the middle of a thought and you want to finish your thought before they can get going, then eventually the student forgets the question, they can post this, and then as the class proceeds, when you get to a good stopping point, perhaps the students have come up with a number of questions that you can take the time to address it. The students can pose the question or get it on writing as soon as they're ready. The other thing is there is an option once this classroom closes down, or once you close it down and go back, for you to print a transcript. You can project it, you can print a transcript. So perhaps the questions go for a 45-minute period, and as the students proceed, you get to the end of the class, and almost like a KW well format could be used, where what do I know, what do I want to know, what did I learn, and you can incorporate some sort of question part of that, a question component. Then at the end, you can print off the transcript and then be able to look at what questions the student had or students in the class had, and go back and address those. You can look for misconceptions and so forth. One thing to be considered is that this could be used outside the classroom, but this also is a great tool for inside the classroom. This technology, this program, can be addressed from any device that has the internet. So it would work with a smartphone. Presumably, if there's a BYOD program in place, there would be Wi-Fi in the building for the students to access. It could be used with a tablet, and it could be used obviously with a laptop or a Chromebook or anything with internet capabilities. The questions in the transcript can be answered on a regular basis within the classroom. It could be addressed after the class where the teacher can take a look at understanding. They could even, this doesn't have to be the students posing the questions. This could be the teacher posing a question to the class and then the students responding with appropriate responses. This would account for students who maybe would desire a little more wait time. They can respond in a little more convenient schedule for them that's conducive to their learning. So that would avoid the same couple students raising their hands and getting the questions right away. So today's meet is just one example of the back channel that we'll be looking at, and a good form of assessment, whether it be formative assessment at posing questions to the students, an opportunity for clarification on the behalf of the students, or perhaps a more summative assessment within a lesson. You could use this as perhaps an exit ticket as the students leave the room. Here we're going to look at it from another angle. I'm going to create a site here, or a today's meet room. This time I'll name it BYOD Tech, and what I want to do is I want to make it so that we can see what it looks like from the tablet sense. So here, same thing, entering the name teacher. I'm going to click join, and I'm just going to say hello. So click on here, type in hello, and I'm going to click say, and we're going to take a look at what it looks like from the student's angle. So it takes a minute to process. We're going to switch over to a screenshot on a tablet. Take a look here. This is what it looks like for the student. You see hello pop up. Same screen pretty much. Same thing would be on a phone. And type in an answer. And then here you see, zoom in here, you can see how the conversation's going, and there's not much of a difference because this is internet based as opposed to texting like you saw in other programs. So just to give you a look at what it looks like. That's the conclusion of this video. The URL web addresses are posted on the site here, or on the screen here for your review to take a look. We see Socrative, Today's Meet, and Poll Everywhere. There are a lot of other links and software programs and resources for doing the type of things that these sites do. It is encouraged that you check them out, but here's a good base to start at to see what it looks like. And just realize technology is always evolving, and there's a lot of things to check out, and give them a try.